Now that Ron introduced to you the concept of bundle pricing, I want to talk about the application and some examples. Let's start with an exercise. Imagine you're working for a software company and you're asked to help to create a product bundle. We have a base offer that sells at $1,000, has a margin of 40% and a penetration in the market of 45%. And we have 4 different products to choose from that we can bundle with the base offer. How do you make this choice with just the given information? It becomes easy once you kind of understand what actually makes a successful and economically sound bundle. There are 3 rules I want to introduce to you. The first one is the bundled product should have a high margin relative to the base offer. The second one is you want to have a low penetration so that you, through bundling it, improve your penetration. And lastly, it needs to have a similar price point relative to the base offer. And the reason for that is once you create the bundle discount, you don't want to give the bundled offering away for free, basically. Let's apply those 3 rules to our exercise here. The first one was we said we want to have a high margin relative to the base offer. So we need to find margins that are similar to 40% or higher. And we have here 45, 55, and 65. The 35 might do it, but let's be rather rigorous here. The second one was you want a market penetration that is comparably low. So our benchmark here is 45%, and pretty much product A, B, and C are low compared to that. Product D is pretty close. And lastly, the third rule was you want to have a similar selling price. Product A and B are pretty low. C and D are fairly close to it. So you see that product C really matches all those criteria pretty well, and that's why this is the right answer in this example. So how big are bundles usually? A few examples from the tech industry. Microsoft did a smart move many years ago when they took all their separate bundles, separate software products, and created them all in one bundle, and also integrated them so that you could start exchanging data between Office and PowerPoint and Excel and so on. If you take the price of all of the different elements of the Office and you bundle it, the discount here given is usually 50%. And this is one of the things that you see here very nicely. You basically want to make a bundle a no-brainer in terms of the discount height, so that as soon as someone uses a few of the offerings, it's a no-brainer to take the bundle because you're better off. The second example is hardware plus software. And here I picked the Sony PlayStation. For a game console, it's not really only the console itself, but you also need a hard drive, and then you need a controller, well, and finally the games. So Sony bundled it to basically have the consumer carry home one box. They can unbox it, plug it in, and start playing right away, which is fairly appealing. And they gave around a 30% discount to that bundle. Lastly, telecom services, and here specifically cable providers. Think about Verizon's triple play, where you have cable TV, internet through the cable, and phone services. And when you get all of them together, they give you around a discount of 40 to 50%. So you can see the bundles are usually, the discount levels for the bundles are usually pretty steep in order to work. And that goes back to the reason why you want to take bundle-only products with high margins, so that you actually have this margin room to price those bundles attractively. Bundles have to provide value to the customer, otherwise why should they buy them? There are a couple of mechanisms how to drive this value. One is through bundling complementary products, meaning products that really go well together. For example, a value meal. You don't only want to have food, but usually also want to have drinks and some fries. And we talked about the game console, what you all need there. A second mechanism is bundle products with similar purchase cycles. Imagine you need medicine for the cold during the day, but you also need something for during the night. So creating a bundle here where you have day and night meds makes a lot of sense to buy together even though you use them separately. Thirdly, you bundle to target specific customer segments. In the Microsoft Office version, there's actually one that is targeting home users, and then you have another one that is targeting business users. You vary a little bit what products exactly you bundle in, but you also can vary a lot then how you price those bundles. Lastly, there is sometimes an opportunity to drive incremental value through product interactions. Sounds fairly abstract, but what this means, for example, in our cable TV example, once you have cable TV and cable internet, you can actually create and offer value-add services for smart TVs. Or in my example about the Office, Microsoft Office, where you start creating interactions between the different software pieces to create this integrated package. But bundles, really good bundles, also drive value for vendors. And that is something that is important because a vendor, a reseller basically, might prefer to sell 3 separate boxes because then he makes 3 times a margin as opposed to have one bundle selling at a discount. So you need to give him an incentive to sell your bundles for you. A good example here might be new cars. Cars often come with option packages, for example, extra sporty rims or nice leather steering wheels. And what this allows is it drives volume for the manufacturer. With the higher volume, it will create scale effects and therefore reduce the cost of it. And you can also bundle many features in there that justify a higher price overall, even though the consumer might only buy the advanced safety package for one particular feature, like the automatic brake system. Another way to drive value for vendors is to think along the product life cycle. Again, a new vehicle example. If you sell the new car and bundle it with a 2 or 3 year service contract, you give the vendor a chance to make the customer come back to your specific place, where you can teach them over time what you have to offer, how well you do the service, and build this relationship that you then can carry forward after the initial service contract expires. And lastly, you can try to build in switching costs into the bundle. That's often used for financial services like insurance. Imagine you have a renter's insurance and you add on a car insurance at a discount, and at the day you want to unbundle it because you want to take your car insurance to another provider, you discover that you would lose the discount, and that creates a psychological hurdle to actually switch. So let me summarize with a few final tips what actually makes a really great bundle. You have to provide value to the customer, and this can happen in a couple of ways. Complementary products, creating those additional bundle interaction effects as 2 examples. Don't forget about creating value also for the vendor so that he has an incentive to sell them. Ensure the healthy bundle economics, and were the 3 rules that we had around. Have a similar selling price than the base offer, have a low market penetration, and have a high margin for your bundled offering. You want to bundle primarily to compete, so oftentimes you don't have a choice whether you bundle or not. If everyone is bundling around you, you probably have to do it as well. And lastly, tailor your bundles to your segments and to your situation. Now, as a closing question, think a bit about how would you bundle the offerings of your current company, and would they be economically sound?